As we all know, money makes the world go round. All throughout history, we've seen societal development driven by the growth and expansion of trading and technology. Understanding modern economics is essential to understanding and succeeding in our rapidly evolving world. As a business major, throughout my courses, I've had my eyes open to the importance of economic trends and those who study them. Those of us who have seen the rise of the internet, globalization, supply chain command and control, and interconnectivity have witnessed the world changing around us and the way we interact and do business. According to Chief Executive Officer of the IAB, David Cohen, it's clear that the U.S. economy is undergoing a radical transformation driven by the market-making power of the internet. Not only are the barriers to entry lower, but the power of interactive advertising allows businesses to connect with consumers faster and more efficiently than ever before. It's now possible for a business located anywhere in the U.S. to reach a global market. To understand this change a little better, I want to share with you a little bit about economist Robert Lucas Jr., who has long been considered one of the founders of modern economic theory. We'll discuss his life, his reputation, his work, and why knowing of him specifically will help us understand a modernized economy. Robert Lucas Jr. was born September 15, 1937 in Yakima, Washington. Shortly after his birth, his family relocated to Seattle, where his mother went on to be a fashion designer and his father worked at a shipbuilding facility and then eventually as a welder with a refrigeration company. Lucas attended Roosevelt High School in Seattle, graduating in 1955. After high school, Lucas went on to attend the University of Chicago and received his B.A. in history in 1959. He briefly attended the University of California in Berkeley as a graduate student in the Woodrow Wilson Doctoral Fellowship, but returned to the University of Chicago in 1960, earning a Ph.D. in economics by 1964. After graduation, he worked at the School of Industrial Administration, but went on to again return to Chicago in 1975. In 1980, he joined the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and the National Academy of Sciences in 1981, also receiving a Guggenheimer Fellowship. After receiving the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences in 1995, he went on to join the American Philosophical Society in 1997. Lucas continued writing and publishing many papers and articles until 2021, and by then had become the 10th most cited economist in the world. On May 15, 2023, Lucas passed away at the age of 85 in Chicago. When it comes to respect and reputation with his peers, Lucas is considered to be in the highest tier in academic circles. Many of his theories, formulas, and models are considered foundational and indispensable to modern economics. His academic peers report him to be of the highest repute, such as Professor of Economics Alexandre Andrada in his article Understanding Robert Lucas for Economiam, when he said, "Few papers today address issues in equilibrium asset pricing without referring to Lucas's seminal work." Lucas's work on rational expectation was seen as groundbreaking and foundational to modern economics. His work and its competence and credibility have led him to becoming the 10th most cited economist in the world. A lot of what Lucas is about can be summed up by three of his most popular ideas. The first idea, which is known as the Lewis critique, maintains that economic policy changes create a once you've gone you can never come back kind of shift. Lucas's theorem stresses the need for considering both changing expectations and conditions when attempting to predict the impact of new policy. This means macroeconomics should be treated as an aggregate of microeconomic systems. Another idea, the Lucas wedge, is important for creating economic projections. It is essentially an equation for measuring how large the GDP should be without poor economic policymaking. Lastly, looking at rational expectation, which is the idea that economics is affected by what people expect. Because decisions do not occur in a perfect world, one must consider how people and their reactions, expectations, and perceptions will affect the outcomes of economic policy changes. Robert Lucas Jr.'s work is an exceptional perspective of economics, as he has lived and worked through an era that can be considered the modernization of our economy. With the evolution of technology and the interconnectivity of the internet and globalization, there's been a radical shift in how the worldwide economy functions. Born in the late 1930s and involved with economics from 1960s to the 1920s, he had a chance to see it all happen. Looking at his various theories, his new classical concept that microeconomic systems should be treated as an aggregate of microeconomic systems, one can see how his unique perspective on economics has led him to becoming one of the most cited economists in the world. It is interesting to learn about the history of economics, but the thoughts and ideas of pre-internet academic scholars will never have the same relevance as the thoughts of post-internet academics. In summary, understanding modern economics, to which Lucas would be considered a foundational figure, is essential to understanding the world around us. The period that his work has covered, his education, and his reputation and respect amongst his peers, proves the validity and effectiveness of his work, which is focused on the dynamics of modern economics. In our modernized world in which money drives everything, we must learn to understand economics and what's actually happening behind a dollar.